Hi. Going off what Shannon said, what a fantastic group of cyclists we have. And, I am so impressed by some of our first-year riders. Yeah. They are not giving up. They are so determined to do every fantastic inch of this ride. So kudos to you guys. Kudos for, breaking, the Arthritis Foundation's expectations on what we would fundraise this year. Good job, guys. One of the hardest jobs in the world is, what we do here, what our team does here, the Arthritis Foundation support. We have Eli, we have Shannon, taking care of us, making sure we're safe every inch, which we all appreciate. But one of the hardest jobs in the world is being a parent, and we have our, parent representatives here, kind of to talk about their story. And, much like Eli with his push broom, who knew? Keeping us safe, going the extra mile. As parents, that's what we do, and how much more challenging is it, as a parent, but then to also have to navigate the challenge of, figuring out how to navigate this disease and give your child a normal life and, a happy life. So I will let Jamie tell you a little bit more about Jeff.
Thanks, Erica. Erica is the captain of the Amgen team, so give her please. All of you that are working with Amgen, we owe a ton to Erica and the work that she does behind the scenes to get us all moving in the right direction. So thanks again. And introduce Jeff. I got the opportunity to meet Jeff about a year ago, and the senior executive vice president of clinical development for Amgen came to me one day and said, I would love to have somebody come and talk to my development team. And the development team are the people with test tubes, right? They're people in labs. They're people that are trying to make drugs for people to stop the progression of their disease or hopefully cure their disease. And he said, during the pandemic, my team, there's 350 of them, have been in labs working hard, but really haven't had a chance to see the outside world. At the same time, I got a call from an Amgen colleague who said, you're not gonna believe this, but I was at a swimming pool at a hotel, and I ran into an old person I went to school with, and this person is on an Amgen drug, and would really like to tell their story. And I was like, wow, two things coming together in 2021 for the good, right? Yeah. And I was like, wow, this is an opportunity to bring two people together. So, got the opportunity to meet Jeff and his family, and I said, Rob, this is the guy for you. He's going to meet you, you're gonna have a conversation, and then Jeff's gonna tell his story to your team, and your team's gonna go back to work and try and produce the drugs that are gonna save people's lives. And so, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Jeff, and he's going to tell you his story that he told to the Amgen team a year and a half ago.
Hey everybody, everybody hear me okay? Yeah. I'm Jeff Lowe. You can call me J-Lo. I'm with a super loud bike, so if you hear me go by, I'm sorry. It's really loud and it wasn't intentional.
Sit there, turn to full.
Yeah. I told him on your left, and he took off in front of me when he passed me. So I'll make sure I do that. Well, as I was thinking, what to share with you guys tonight, because there's just a lot that goes on. The saying goes, it takes a village. And it couldn't be more true. And, our journey started when Scotty was 2.5 years old. We got a call from preschool, and they said, he's not walking. His knee's swollen up the size of a grapefruit, one side, his right side, He wasn't really talking much at the time, so we couldn't really get feedback from him. And there was no obvious signs of trauma, no bleeding, no bruise, no nothing. And it happened overnight. So we're with Kaiser, we're in the Bay Area. We went to our primary care physician, our pediatrician, told her what was going on, and she's like, it's not a thing, we're gonna put you on some naproxen, you're gonna, crush it up, you're gonna put it into yogurt, you're gonna give it to him twice a day, and that's just what you're gonna do. So the weeks went by, the months went by, it wasn't getting any better. So then we started escalating the treatment. Cortisone shots, Scotty had gone under general anesthesia, which I wasn't prepared mentally for. And back to it taking a village, we had support from our family, we had my wife here. Quickly, could you just recognize, that's my wife right there, Christy. And as all this is happening, we're like, this is something. And our doctor's like, probably not. Well, maybe 6-8 months into it, gets really foggy now. My wife said, I need a referral to a rheumatologist. Like, enough. Like, this is not going how we wanted to go. So with reluctance, surprisingly, they said, okay. We met with the rheumatologist, and she's like, boom, classic juvenile idiopathic arthritis, JIA. Just like that. And I was like, what was all that? Like, how about all that stuff? And they're just like, well, we don't know. And I said, it's a pretty rare thing, right? And they're like, no. And I was like, well, how many kids have it in the States? They said 300,000 juveniles. And I'm like, how come I didn't know about this? How come my physician didn't know about this? And how can I be more involved? So we tried to do things with the Jingle Bell Run, or we did the Jingle Bell Run in Petaluma. There was an Amgen tent there. I was so excited. I was like, hey, this is what we did, we're on Emble, and she gave me her card, and I was like, how can I get our word out and tell our story? And nothing happened. Seriously, nothing happened. So, fast forward, just a little bit, I'll go. It's so funny that James, I didn't even tell him I was doing the ride until day one. I saw him in like a van. And he was like, hey! It's kind of how this trip has went. It's been really cool. So as we're getting the treatments for Scotty, and we're getting, I lost my train of thought. Jingle Bell Run, thank you. Didn't write anything down. We were on vacation in Napa, and we were at the pool, just hanging out, our whole family, and a woman came up with a young child and went straight to my wife and was like, where do I know you? And it's kind of weird, right? And quickly they found out that they went to school together at Cal Poly College. We rode through there yesterday. Go Mustangs. And they actually live in the same dorm. Crazy, right? So we're like, this is crazy, 15 years down the road. So we're sharing our story, our kids are splashing around. So we start talking about Scotty. And we started talking about his experience with JIA. And she said, you're kidding. What are you guys doing? I said, we're taking Enbrel and it's working for us. And she said, no way. I work for Amgen and I know the team that manufactures that drug. Would you be willing to share your story? I'm like, finally! Like, yes! I have the slides. Like, they're ready to go, you know? That was a year ago. So she introduces me to Jamie. We present to the team. It was a little nerve-wracking because it was on WebEx, and WebEx doesn't work as well as Zoom. And as we shared our story, I remember we got introduced to our Shannon. Where was Shannon? Shannon Marina Cox. And she's like, hey, would you be willing to share your story with like a fundraiser? I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, when do you want me? She says, oh, well, it's like a ride. Do you ride a bike? And I was like, no, but So fast forward a little bit, it's April, and I had a birthday. I have a big number coming up next year. And I didn't tell my wife. 30. No. You guessed it, it's 40. So I didn't even tell my wife. I was like, "Pew, registered." And at the time, I didn't have a bike, and so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna figure this out. And then I started fundraising, and I hit up my neighbor for cash. She's right there. She's doing the right too. Like, who knew? She's my literal next door neighbor. And so we're like, oh, let's do it. Real quick, happy birthday to Sarah. She had a 50th birthday. So here I am.
Savage.
And,
Savage.
you know, when we go back to It Takes a Village, I didn't realize this. I didn't even think about this coming into this, but I realized, like, you guys are so special. We didn't even know you guys were biking for 21 years, right? Is that how long it's been going on? You guys been 22? This is 22. We had no idea that the love, the support, the stories, the relationships, like, we didn't know we had you guys as a family. And while I'm probably not going to ride this ride again, I will be back taking pictures with my drone. I told Shannon, I was like, I will contribute. I'm just not like a biking guy. I've been riding for 4 months.
We'll make you, don't worry. That's all right, you're there.
I'll sag you in my personal post.
We'll get him involved too, and then you're in trouble.
Let's do it. Crazy, right? Just crazy. And, you know, going back to our story with Scotty, once we started trying to get him on stuff, and we actually started getting traction, there were setbacks. At one point, he was on 5 different medications. He was on prednisone, which is a terrible thing to be on when you're 3.5. He was on methotrexate. He was on Enbrel. He was taking other, there are 5 things in total. There's some heavy things going on there. And as a parent, the temperature in the house just keeps ticking up, right? We had our second child, Emma.
Yay!
And it became really difficult to try to manage the visit, the hospital, not the hospital, but the clinic, the appointments. My wife had to quit her job, or she had to take time off to make sure that she could take him there. I run a small business, and I could only do so much. And it made it really tough to try to get through this together. And ultimately, we found our way. Enbrel's been working with us for a long time. Scotty's now 8 years old. And he's continued to work for us. And while, actually I'll tell you this. Last spring, it was last fall, we had finally signed Scotty up for T-ball. This was kind of the first sporting event we could actually do because of COVID, right? I'm into photography. I was lined up like any proud dad, down the first base line, had my camera, a reason to do something helpful. And so I wasn't coaching. And Scotty goes up to bat. I'd like to say he hit a home run. He hit a mediocre dribbler, right here, He's coming down the first base line, and I'm just snapping away. And right when he gets to first base, it was crazy. I'm just sitting in the grass by myself, right? So there's no one around me. And I look at the picture, and he's tagging first. His arms are out wide, and he's on his right leg, planted firmly on the base, safe. And I saw that, and I was like, I wasn't thinking about this, but this is happening. I get to have a child who can leave an active life, who can have fun, who I can share experiences with. And then the crazy story of Amgen and meeting everybody, I was like, this is all for a reason. I'm adding this trip to my crazy story. Thank you to all of you who have fundraised, who have supported. I'm so glad my family came. You guys are gonna be here the rest of the week, right? So yeah, they're gonna go see the company. And it's so great for them to experience the love that I have felt, from you guys this week. It's been incredible. Before I go, I know I went over. I'm hungry too. But yeah, since it was counting. But since it takes a village, and you guys are my village, I thought we could have a little cheer for Scotty. When I was in the hotel Saturday or Friday night, he asked me, he's like, "Why are you writing?" And I said, "I'm writing for you." And he didn't really quite understand it. I'm not sure he still does. He's only 8. It's all about Pokemon and Transformers. And I realized very quickly that I was wrong. It wasn't just me writing for Scotty. It's all of you guys. Let's do the cheer. Thank you for that. We're going to do the cheer, though. I'm going to say, "Why do we ride?" and we're going to say for Scotty. We're going to do it 3 times. Are you guys ready? Why do we ride? For Scotty! Why do we ride? For Scotty! Why do we ride? For Scotty!